face. Let's have a great week. Who's ready for one? Okay, I have 5 interviews this week. Strong lineup. Want to start off with the cryptos. I know we're an FX analytics firm, but if you've been in face for a while, you know I pointed out this 78.6 level on Bitcoin, and we were able to hold it. Really never closed. Maybe you could find one candle where it closed under 78.6. And you could probably call this a massive short covering rally. I don't know how many people are short that trade crypto, but I want to make a point that when I bring in guests, it's also kind of a way of gauging market sentiment. And if you recall, I'm not sure because I can't recall if it was last week or the week before, I brought in a few crypto guys with pretty large followings, one over 100,000. And I asked them about what I was looking at. And all of them barely wanted to talk about crypto. And you could probably understand after an 80% decline in value, correct? Okay, go ahead. 3, 2, 1, go. So anyway, what I was getting from them and what I'm getting from Twitter is now everyone who has been a bull that would buy every dip all the way down have learned or at least are conditioned that really didn't work. So now they're turning into technicians, and now they want to see higher prices like 4,000 or 4,500 before they can declare a bottom. So my view is this is the beginning of a Lazarus phase and a comeback phase in crypto. Steve pointed out that Ethereum had better structure, and it did outperform Bitcoin by quite a bit. But the star of the show was Litecoin, which putting a little 3 driver here, maybe it's going to make another run. But it's my view after bringing in these guys. In fact, one of them said, well, I'm looking more at FX nowadays. These are crypto enthusiasts. So the gauge was, and I asked him, I said, are people in despair? And he said, yeah, they're either out, they're gone, or they're holding on and, you know, hold on for dear life, hodl, whatever it is. So I don't think there's a lot of bullishness, and I think we could get a pretty good bear market rally. In fact, when I look at Bitcoin, I think it's reasonable to expect perhaps a retest of its breakdown level here at 6,000. So, you know, that's almost a double from here. Buy pullbacks is the way I see it. Get your fibs in there. And of course, the relative weakness is Bitcoin, but I'm figuring between 34.5 or so would be a good buy, and you risk a close under 78.6. Litecoin, if we get some type of sell-off, you know, $37 or so, risking the lows. And, you know, there's quite a ways it could climb, right? I mean, when you look at Litecoin where it was, 360. So I don't know, why can't we see $80 there? And in Ethereum, why can't we see? And, you know, that would be close to a triple back above 335, so, or at 335. And that would only be a bear market rally. But what's going to happen is people are going to wait for the confirmation of price going up, and then they won't be able to buy it because they'll feel like they're chasing a rally. So that's my crypto narrative. Everyone's waiting for higher prices to confirm a bottom, and after they get those prices, it'll be hard to buy. So I would look at buying pullbacks after last week's action. It's almost like the patient was on the table. It was given electric shock treatment, and the heartbeat came back to crypto on Friday, and looking for it to be a Lazarus phase. And we all know what Lazarus did. So just my opinion, of course, you need risk management, and the way to do that is get out of the way under last week's lows and buy pullbacks. So that's something that was a forecast at the bottom, and now there's evidence that it's potentially true after what we saw on Friday. Something else that I'm going to be looking at, we have stock indexes coming in higher, and last week was just actually closed higher on the week. So why can't we get one more blast up to test these highs, take them out? We'll have a lot of divergence on the 4 because we didn't. Now, what's interesting to me, and I have some bearish ETFs that I'll add on up here, but what's going to be interesting to me is if we rally to new highs, and we know that the S&Ps and crude have been pretty much locked at the hip. I'm suspecting that if crude holds and it rallies with the S&Ps, it will be a sympathy rally. So if I see 2740, 2745, maybe 50 sometime this week, I'm going to be looking at where crude is. And if we just have a fib retracement on the crude and we're not making new highs with the S&Ps making new highs, that would be a short selling opportunity in my view. Dixie, could probably call this a little 3 drive to a top, but I think there's more left. I really think that the euro has to do a little stop hunting, not shop hunting, under this low right here. And then I think we could get a bounce. But I saw Blake's week ahead video, and I agree with his targets. I've had this line for a long time on the weekly, that eventually we head towards 108. So looking for some type of recovery after we take out this low at 1280. But I don't think we're going to get much more. Would love to see after that happen a rally back towards 114. And I think that's going to be the last bus stop before we head sharply lower. So dollar getting long in the tooth, euro getting closer, more relative strength in the commodity currencies, as you can see at this point, at least so far. Aussie's not making a new low. Kiwi's not making a new low. Cable is not making a new low. So there will be some counter trend opportunities in my view, but I'm going to wait for a 97 print or better in the Dixie to do anything about it. And I'll just wrap with the metals. I thought they'd come in better, but since they didn't, actually taking a shot at the long side here, see if we could get something like this from here that would take it up to the 320 level, and taking a shot in the silver down here too, thinking that maybe we head back up to 1590, 1595. After that, I expect a pretty good break back to 1530, and gold after that, 1280 is going to be the target on the downside if we make new lows down around here. So those are my thoughts. Any question? If you're setting up for a 3 drive on a weekly, it'd be 1140. To me, it looks like 108, right? For a 3rd drive. So you could call this 1, 2, and then we get 3. You're saying 1, 2, and then one more low, and that'll be a 3. It's possible. I'm just thinking that a measured move from here could take us down to 108 in a tish. But 111.40, I know you have skills, I'll be paying attention to that, especially if I get the opportunity to short it up around 114. Any questions on any of the things I talked about early this morning? You're welcome, Nitish. Well, I'm going to save that for Steve and Blake. They talk a lot about the CAD. And I think I'll just toss it over to Blake. How are you dealing with no football? I know you're busy. I know you're busy with your sons, but yeah, I've been jonesing and, flipping through movies on Amazon and, I'm having a hard time. I'm jonesing.
Well, you got to go find another sport. Underwater basket weaving is a good sport to watch.
I used to love hoops. I was that was my game. I played it, but I just have a hard time watching it on TV.
Yeah, well,
I like March Madness, but yeah.
Well, we still have a little bit of time till we get there, so you can kind of get ahead of the curve, I guess, right now. If you want to.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's why I'm with ForexAnalytix. I feel ahead of the curve every market day, my friend.
Well, we had a soccer tournament this weekend, and the final game on Sunday yesterday. My son went from in a point standing from first place to third on the last game. He was destroyed. I mean, it would really destroyed him all night. He's very competitive. He's probably one of the more competitive people I've ever met in my life, actually. And it's crazy. And he's only.
Who did he get that from?
Not me.
Really?
Yeah, it's his mom. Yeah, it's definitely his mom. Yeah, I hate playing Scrabble with that woman. Jesus. Anyway, look, it was just a multiplier, for crying out loud. Anyway, I'm sitting here looking at the FX market, and it's been very quiet. It's obviously a very quiet market. You look at the euro where it's at. It's very difficult to be short down here. If you look at how many times over the last 2 months we've been below 113 and popped our head right back up, it's really difficult to be short. Now, does that mean you need to be long? No, like I said in the week ahead video, I'm looking for lower levels in the euro dollar, but I don't know if it's coming yet. If you look at this 4-hour chart, just to give you a great example here, we have divergent relative strength. So you have divergent relative strength as prices moving into support. I would be very nervous about being on the short side here. You got risk assets are rallying. That means that you have currencies like the euro yen, which look a little bit stronger this morning. Which euro yen's coming off of channel support. I have a real hard time being short the euro, at least right now. Now, like I said, I think we're going to eventually break down, but what I'd probably look for at this point versus just straight up selling down here, especially with this relative strength, is look for a rally back up to whoops, I didn't mean to do that. 1350 and something like this, and then look for a reversal. But you gotta, I think you have to let these relative strength, this relative strength probably reset itself unless there's a catalyst. And I don't see a catalyst yet. And right now, you got precious metals that are have pulled back, but they might show a bounce. And if they do, that could weaken the dollar a little bit here. It's very tricky. But you can also see we're in a less than 40 pip trading range once again. So the volatility is very low at this point, and with volatility really low, I think that the risk of a severe move is starting to build. I think the risk is there. So what do you do with the euro right now? I would be more hesitant to be on the short side. Does that mean you want to be long? Yeah, I don't know if you really want to be long, but I think you just got to be real careful being short. Like I said, I think I'd rather sell it on a rally if we can get it. But that's what I'm looking at with the euro. The cables, just sitting at that 38% retracement. We talked about how important this support was, and we're not breaking down, but then again, we're not bouncing. So the question is, what do you do here? The Aussie's pretty weak. We've rolled over. We're back towards this pretty critical support. And looking at the Aussie, I would have actually thought we would have bounced aggressively already with risk appetite stronger. Little false breakdown here. I thought we would have been trading higher this morning. So, excuse me, sorry, it's Monday morning yawns. It's interesting. During the weekends, my body doesn't want to sleep late. I'll get to sleep at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll still get up at 6. But then during the weekdays, I can sleep. I could probably put in a 10-hour sleep at night. I don't know what it is about the weeknights, but anyway. But like I said, with the Aussie, I would have thought that we would have been a lot higher here with the risk appetite stronger. Just not happening. Kiwi just steadier ahead of the RBNZ. So we're just, whoa, look at this dollar yen. The dollar yen is the one that's it's strengthening here, and we're breaking out. We're above that 110. 110. I was looking at 110.10, but we're 110.15 level. We're above it right now, so a little bit stronger in the dollar yen. Maybe we're seeing some movement here. Let's see. It's all coming through the yen pairs. Let's see what this euro yen spiking up a little bit. Look at the euro. Hold on. Conway says possible Trump and Z will meet very soon. That's Fox News interview. Well, there you go. Positive trade talk.
The gift that keeps on giving.
It is, man. It is the gift that keeps on giving. Just always the spin, Give me some spin. Yeah, so the euro is spiking higher. The euro yen is spiking higher. Yep. So I'm gonna, and again, I'm not really too sure what to do, but I'll tell you what I wouldn't be doing is I wouldn't be short any of these yen pairs. You got the dollar yen that looks a lot stronger. So in my opinion, it looks like the dollar yen is heading back up towards this 110.80. And okay, so today is Monday, and frankly, it looks like that we're going to get a nice risk on day. Let's hope that we get a nice strong move higher in equities today. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm not going to do these charts too much here with Steve coming on. But let's hope we get a nice move higher in risk appetite, and then we can sell. We can do a turnaround Tuesday. That's kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen. So, as far as right now, what do you do? I don't know. I mean, look at even the dollar Canadian. We talked about this. We talked about the Canadian jobs report on Friday, and I had those drawings there from Friday, and as I mentioned, before the jobs report, I'm like, if you get a dip down towards that 132 level, and you pick it up long. We didn't quite get as dip as far as I thought we would get. I thought we would get to 132. We got to 132.30, and then we bounced right back up. I mean, even the strong Canadian data can't move the needle on the dollar CAD, which again, this is just, it's kind of par for the course in this market. And I was talking to one of the traders that I network with, and he's one of the bigger traders that I chat with all the time. And he's like, man, currency volatility really sucks right now. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be one of those situations where we're going to be sitting, not expecting anything. And then volatility is just going to come out of the woodwork, and it's going to rip, and we're going to be caught off guard. The market's going to be caught off guard. You're sitting here looking at these 20, 30 pip trading ranges, and it's going to be one instance. You're going to see the euro, spike up towards 113.40, and and you're going to go, wow, all right, I'm going to fade that since we're not going anywhere. And then next thing you know, you'll trade at 113.80 in the next blink of an eye, or vice versa. You know, we'll be trading at 113, and next thing you know, we're trading at 112.60, and you go to buy it, and it trades down to 112.10. It's kind of like that Asia move when we saw those yen pairs move several hundred pairs or several hundred pips in just a matter of a few minutes. We're going to see that type of volatility pick up, and it's going to be quick. I don't know when it's coming, obviously, but I truly believe that we're in for something like that very soon. So this is not the time that you want to let your guard down. You want to be careful. What I would, if you're a ForexAnalytix subscriber, the good news is we have, you have all your support and resistance levels that we adjust these manually every day. So if you're wondering how we come up with these numbers are adjusted by myself and the rest of the team at least once a day, sometimes more, depends on how volatile the day was. But all these support and resistance levels trip alarms. So if you have your mobile app, you go over to settings here, and I'll show you really quick. You go over to settings, you have your where is my notifications? Okay, you go to notifications, and you have your notifications for your emails being sent out, browser notifications. On your mobile app, you can set your you can set your mobile app notifications up right on your phone, and you make sure you have those set up so when these support and resistance levels get tripped, you get notified that it's moving. And so what I'm going to be looking for is when multiple support or resistance levels get tripped, because all these levels are so tight now. When you see multiple levels get tripped, you know that the market might be on the move. And that for me is like how I'm using ForexAnalytix at this time, because I know it's tight. I know the market's tight. I know the volatility is really low. And as soon as we start seeing breakouts or breakdowns happen across the board, that's really going to be my trigger on, hey, let's start paying a little bit closer attention to what's happening in the markets. Because right now, this up and down 10 or 15 pips is not my cup of tea. It's not, not how I thrive in the markets. So a couple other things I think we should note. The US dollar Norwegian krona, whoops, where is it? Here we go. Continues to rally. I mean, look at this squeeze. I mean, that's a hell of a squeeze. If you saw the 4-hour RSI, this is on Friday. 4-hour relative strength was out of control strong, okay? We were divergent, okay? And then we have another leg higher, still divergent, but look how much higher we are in price. So this squeeze has been pretty massive. We, if the euro can hold 113, okay, if the euro can hold 113, I think the US dollar Norwegian krona might be a nice short here, and might be a nice setup for a reversal. I am not short. I'm just saying that's something that I think that we should keep an eye on here. Maybe if we can get a move up to the 161% extension, because you can see we're past we're past the 127% extension. So if we can get up towards 872, I would be willing to take a pop shot at it just to be on the short side, just as long as the euro's holding around these levels. But I love these squeeze moves. Like you can see here, everybody was looking for the big head and shoulder pattern. I know I was. False breakdown below the neckline, reversal, squeeze. Let it get here. Let it get up here, and then you look for a reversal. That's just kind of something that I think is a good setup for right now. And hopefully you get some crude oil that'll bounce at the same time, and that might help the cause a little bit. So anyway, those are just the kind of things I'm looking at. I'm not looking for a euro breakdown today. I'm really hoping that we get And it's not saying that we can't get a euro breakdown today. I'm just hoping that we get a euro bounce before a sell-off. Relative strength is too divergent. Nitish said, and I have to go back and look at it, the DSI, the daily sentiment index for the euro is trading at 15, or is at 15. So that's kind of a weak reading. It's almost too weak. It's because they're readings that the sentiment is too bearish. So we might get a snapback rally, and that's what I'm just hoping for. I'm hoping we get another rally towards 114 or 113.70, just to be able to pick off a short in the euro up at those levels. That's what I'm hoping for. But with that being said, hopefully I think we can find some stuff to do in the crosses, Steve and Stelios, because that's where most of the action's been. I know that's where Amanda has been trading the heck out of the market, has been trading like the euro, Aussie, pound New Zealand, things like that. So I'm leaving those charts for you guys so you have something to look at along with the yen crosses. So how are you guys doing today?
Hey, mate.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, guys.
Hello, Steve's.
So, hey, you know what? I guess what I was gonna do, because I didn't get an opportunity. When I did the week ahead video, it was off the cuff. Obviously, nothing was scripted. I just kind of.
And if anybody hasn't watched that week ahead video, they should definitely do so.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you my trading environment, and I didn't intend for it to be, a brag video. My office is just an office. It's just a home office. It's a separate room in my house. But this way you guys can see what my setup looks like, because our contest, which was almost 2 years ago, it's like a year and like 8 or 9 months ago, that we did this very similar contest to this. But we want to see your trading environment. Stelios actually posted his trading environment in the chat room today. So if you guys are in the ForexAnalytix chat room, you got to look at the. I can show you right now, so everybody else can see it too. This is the. Here, I have to. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you can see. This is Stelios's trading desk and where he does business. So this is what we want to see, what your guys's your trade setup looks like. And it like I said in the video, it doesn't have to be the biggest or the baddest. It's what works best for you. And then we're going to select a winner, and then you're going to have a random winner. But what I didn't tell you guys on the video is how to submit your entry. So email support@forexanalytix.com. Now remember, ForexAnalytix is spelled with an X. Okay. But submit your entries at support@forexanalytix.com, and you have till the end of the month, and we will select a winner. We'll have a random winner. We'll have a few runner-ups that will win a month of ForexAnalytix subscription. Then we're going to have some honorable mentions, and the team and I will comment on the blog on some of these setups and give you our thoughts and ideas. So we can't wait to see what your setups look like, just like Stelios showed us today. So
does everyone have to be dark sitting at their station?
Like what, like my video?
Yeah.
Well, it was a little dark. The problem is my blinds. I could have opened my blinds and I guess a little bit more, but yeah, it was a little dark, wasn't it?
The shadow knows.
Yes. So anyway, it's going to be fun. We have a lot of fun with those. So
yeah,
guys, I'm going to pass it over to you. Good luck today. Happy Monday to you. And I hope everybody has a great trading week.
I thought you were a hologram, buddy.
I want to actually answer Kelly's question. She says, "Is his desk always so tidy?" No, I spent like half an hour cleaning it up. So there you go.
Did you?
Blake, by the way, I know you mentioned it in the week ahead video, but it's a good opportunity to remind people here that if they live close by or they intend to participate, to the Money Show, to the New York Traders Expo, 10th to 12th of March. We're going to be there. We're going to be happy to see them. At the 11th of the month, you can click here. You're going to get on this landing page. You can register for free for the Traders Expo. And if you intend to participate in our get-together later in the evening, in the 11th, you can fill in your information here. So, we have a good idea of how many people are coming, and we can make it relevant.
Email you the details too, like hey.
Yes, exactly.
He's buying McDonald's on the corner of 34th Street.
They want to check.
Exactly.
I heard that Trump isn't letting Greeks or Slovakians in the country.
Okay, then Gregor can make it since he's Slovenian, but I can't.
I knew it was one or the other.
Guys, Melania is Slovenian, right? So there's no way they would.
Yeah, so there's no way he's
so Gregor could get in then.
Right. Yes. He's a cousin of Melania. Yeah. Yeah. So they are so few that probably they're all related to each other by blood.
So, Stella, are we going to have a deal on Brexit? I interviewed a guy last week who was getting long cable because he believes there's a deal. I'm trying to remember who it was. From Forex Flow. Let's see. And Amanda knew him. Ryan Littlestone. So he was talking about he was scaling in, looking for a deal. What do you think?
Well, if I knew, my gut feeling tells me that there's, they're going to try and do something at the end, probably extend the deadline. I mean, you know how politicians are. Theoretically, there shouldn't be a deal.
I don't know why that would be a positive, extending the deadline, but okay. I mean,
well, if you extend it, you are effectively not getting a disorderly Brexit, right? So at least not yet. So
correct. But on the other hand, they want to be closer to finding a solution, and as it seems, this is some kind of a deadlock because the EU doesn't seem that they're willing to do any more compromises, and from the UK side, I don't think it's going to be easy achieving some kind of common will to do more compromises to come in some kind of a deal. So I don't know really. Buying time, I'm pretty sure that the market is going to think that's a positive and it's going to react positively. I have no question about that in my mind. But bottom line, it just extends uncertainty, and as we know, uncertainty is the worst thing for the market. So I don't know. Let's see what's going to happen with that.
Remember, on one side we have politicians, on the other side we have unelected bureaucrats. So they will find a way somehow, I think. But who knows? But speaking about the UK, we actually had some data today, it was a sea of red. We had the GDP print. Revisions, everything was red. So GDP print came in at 0.2% quarter on quarter, expected 0.3, down from 0.6 the previous quarter. Manufacturing production, industrial production, all missed. Basically not good at all. But having said that, Euro sterling is like 10 pips higher than what it was before the numbers. Cable is a little bit lower, but that's mainly because the dollar is strengthening against pretty much all the other majors. But as we get closer to the March deadline, these numbers will mean less and less, and obviously some kind of Brexit closure will be the main thing to look at. Now, Blake also mentioned Norway. We had this dollar Norway rally because CPI came in at 3.1% versus 3.3% expected, so worse than expected, but still quite a bit above the 2% target. Seems that the market just doesn't like to acknowledge any good data out of Norway, but is really quick to be bearish on weak data. So I still like the krona, but it's very frustrating at the moment because of the way it's trading. And the other thing, which people forget, this week is the deadline for the the shutdown, temporary lift, of the shutdown. So there has to be some.
Yeah,
15th. Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So there has to be something on that side. Otherwise, we go back into shutdown mode, and the markets don't like shutdowns. Let me tell you that.
I can't figure out why Trump would want to do that. The previous time he shut down the government, he in essence capitulated without getting anything in return. So I don't understand why he would think that shutting down the government this time is going to get a different result. So personally, I have obviously no inside information, but I'm very skeptical about that he's actually going to attempt to shut down the government. I consider it more likely, Stelio, that he's going to try to declare a state of emergency, whatever that is, and try to get the funding from that. Of course, that's going to get shut down in court, but then he will be able to at least tell his voters that, listen, I knew that the Democrats wouldn't ever make a deal for that, and I tried my best. I mean, I even gave it a shot to do something that was more or less very easy to be disputed, and it got shut down in court. So what can I do about it? I mean, I did my best. I doubt
Trump is not the one to admit defeat, right? I don't think he's ever done that.
And if he does that, he would want to blame it somewhere else, right? Judiciary, for example, in this case. So I did it. I mean, I secured the funding, but then they shut it down. There's not much I can do about that. So I think that's more likely of a scenario. And to me, it also looks a little bit suspicious that he didn't try to get the funding for the wall before the midterm elections. That he could actually have done that, much more easily, and he tried to do that after, which was a harder task to achieve. So I think that might also mean something. But anyhow, doesn't really matter. None of that really matters. Bottom line, what matters is that I don't think we're going to get any government shutdown. Personally, that's what my gut feeling tells me. So I think that's going to be more or less a non-event. Of course, we're going to have to find out pretty soon. As you said, theoretically speaking, we're getting close to the date. So let's see what we get. Anything else that I saw, Stelio, that during the weekend. We got some speculation that China GDP is going to slow down further to 6.3%, which, I never pay attention to those numbers as well anyhow, because, they are what they want them to be.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no one can know if they're right or wrong, so, can I comment on that? I really don't know. They will print whatever they want to print.
Yeah.
But, in the face of slowing global, economic growth and inflation and everything, it would not surprise me. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything else from the macro side before we go to the charts? Not that we've had any serious movement today, to be honest, but we have a few things to show.
Yeah, no, okay. I have nothing else, my friend.
Dale, anything you want us to look at?
What do you think, Steve? Crypto's put in a pretty nice day Friday.
I totally agree with you. Let's start from there.
Okay.
And this is what I'm watching for, actually, in Ethereum. I like Ethereum here. I actually bought Ethereum through a CFD. I bought a little bit of Ethereum through CFD near the close of Friday, so just below 120, and I think it looks good for another move to the upside. I mean, we had a very strong move lower, obviously, and then we had obvious signs of momentum loss because initially we descend, in that kind of a rate of descent. Then we get a channel that has a lower rate of descent, and then we get into a wedge that has even a lower rate of descent. So, this clear loss of momentum very frequently, ends up with a breakout and some kind of a strong move higher. Now, my fundamental thesis about cryptos hasn't changed. I believe that there is no intrinsic value here and a very, very high risk that they're going to be worth zero at some point. But, I trade the chart, right? And I'm not here to stay forever. So, I put a little bit here through a CFD, as I said, on just below 120. I like Ethereum more to the upside. If you remember, I had been saying that for some time. Not that Bitcoin doesn't look like it can make another move to the upside, but I like the structure of Ethereum more. At least it gives
you should look at Litecoin even outperformed Ethereum Friday.
LTC, it's LTC
Yeah.
USD, right?
Yeah, it had a stronger structure going into it too. So it's right there.
Yeah, some clear divergence
Yeah,
here. That was a nice bottom because we had some very, very clear
yeah.
divergence here on the daily RSI.
Percentage terms, it from 20 to 47.
Yeah, and as you see, Dale, it's exactly what we were describing before because, okay, it's not going to be easy drawing it with a mouse, but you can clearly see here.
Oh, Ziggy wants us to give San Diego to Mexico, so he can get rid of me.
So you see what I'm drawing here. There is a clear loss of momentum, and yeah, I think that it looks good for it. The vast majority of them look like they are in some kind of a bottoming process. Now, as I said, they need to do a lot more to start looking impulsive. But even a corrective move after, for example, if we take Litecoin that you mentioned, Litecoin went from 371 down to 20 something, right, to 22. So, a move that took us from 370 to 20. I mean, you can easily get a rebound to, I don't know, this looks like a very decent area. Here it is. This one, right? I mean, you can easily see some kind of a move higher like this. So, yeah, I think that they don't look that bad.
Lazarus.
Yeah. Lazarus resurrected in 2019,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine if cryptocurrencies just have one-sided price action per year. Because if you remember, we had 2017 being being like an up year, then 2018 being a destructive year. So yeah, who knows? Let's see. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Anyhow, as I said, Ethereum looks quite attractive here. So if you're into it, or even if you're not into it and you like the chart, I think for the short term it looks like a decent trade. Now
I'm a crypto guy now, man.
I trade anything that has a chart.
I know what you mean.
And behaves normally. And I say that because at least lately, cryptocurrencies have been behaving in a more predictable pattern. I mean, if you remember during 2018,
and crypto traders were moving back to FX. That was another sign. Yeah, I interviewed a few guys that didn't even want to talk about it.
Doesn't really surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, gold and silver and the metal complex in general is under pressure today. But I have to say that so far, the move lower in metals doesn't look impulsive to me. So far, it looks corrective. So, I would still be a little bit cautious here. Although I have to admit that silver is currently testing a very nice confluence of support. So if I saw it break lower from here, it would look to me like, there is a decent more downside coming. As you can see here, there's an ascending channel and monitoring this horizontal support resistance area. If I zoom out, you can see how important it has been in the past. So, this 1560, 1570 area, quite an important one. So I do think that silver is currently testing a level worth monitoring. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart because we can see those things better. Let's go to gold. Here it is. Gold, I was watching this, monitoring this as a potential bull flag, but this leg lower obviously makes this probably a more complex type of correction. Now, what what is it? I can't know in advance. But I'll have to monitor because it might be anything. It might be a pennant. It might be anything. Regardless, the move lower, so far as I said before, doesn't look impulsive to me. So I would still tend to believe that whatever this is, it's corrective unless I see a follow-through move that looks like that. You know what I mean? As long as it's orderly, I will still be looking for a potential a last potential leg higher. Having said that, though, what remains true is that platinum remains the weakest, and not only it remains the weakest, but as you see, it's currently testing key support on the daily chart. So if I zoom out here, you can see that platinum has been extremely bearish since 2011. We topped just above 1900. And since then, it has been underperforming gold, and it's currently trying to break lower from a formation that would likely point to new lows, right? So I do think that if you don't like the metals, platinum is still the place to be. Palladium retesting, the previous closing high seems to be getting rejected from here. I need to see more to turn bearish palladium, but there is definitely some struggle here as well. So, momentum isn't what it was. And if I do see a breakdown below this ascending channel support, I think that, we will be looking for a deeper correction in palladium. I think in that case, we can even end up seeing a move, down towards 1140, which was a breakout area back in October 2018. At the very least, I would expect a retest of this consolidation area at 1265. So, there is a potential for a very decent corrective move in palladium, but I want to see more price action to go on board. Now, copper never made it actually to this resistance area. It got rejected from there, so we remain in a rectangle. So I think more patience is required there. As I said, copper is a nice risk-reward short as long as we're getting close to that trend line. But if we do see a breakout from either of those trend lines, I'm pretty convinced that there is going to be some nice continuation, some nice follow through, because the market has already spent some time consolidating in this rectangle, and usually breakouts from rectangles do fulfill their targets, and the target is always the height of the rectangle added or subtracted from support or added to resistance. Until that happens, you have two options, as I said. You either trade the range. So, when we're close to resistance, you sell it. When we're close to support, you buy it. Or you wait the breakout and you buy or sell the breakout. Now, gold-silver ratio that I know that you like very much, Dale, is still consolidating here. I don't know. This might be some kind of a triangle. So let's see what happens from there. But definitely 81.60 and then 81 key levels to watch. Until that happens, we have to respect this long-term ascending wedge, which might keep unfolding for some time until we finally see some kind of a breakdown, because I do think that the next big move in the gold-silver ratio is lower. But until that happens, we might have some continuation of that slow drift higher, right? At some point, though, I think the big bucks are to be made being short this ratio, which most probably will also indicate some overperformance of metals over a decent amount of other instruments. Now let's go down to crude to a 4-hour chart. Yeah, there we are. So crude, we got that final thrust out of the triangle. It was smaller than I was looking for, but regardless, we got that. And now we're seeing a deeper pullback. So the question is, what happens from here? As long as we stay above 50, roughly, I would say, And as long as this move lower looks corrective in nature, I would be looking for more upside, actually. So I think that this is also a corrective move until proven otherwise. And I think that any dip towards 50, 50 and a half is actually quite appealing as a buying opportunity. I do think that the move higher in crude is corrective to this big move lower, but I do think that the corrective move probably has one more leg to go. Okay, so I would be looking to get involved being long the crude once again at lower levels if we're lucky to get them. That's why I'm quite skeptical about what kind of price action we're seeing here in USD CAD, because I'm considering that might be a triangle, and as long as we're seeing this corrective move, USD CAD might remain in a triangle, and then we might see one more leg lower in USD CAD. So this is my main interpretation. What spoils it a little bit for me is USD NOK. The reason I'm saying that is, besides the fact that this move higher is quite impulsive, I can't really get out of my head the long-term picture of USD NOK, which is, and I've shown this, quite a few times, a currency pair that had a long-term impulsive move higher, then a prolonged consolidation lower within a channel, and once we broke above that channel, what did we do? We came down, we retested this breakout trend line, market, 1, 2, 3 times. We held every single time, and after the third time, we're seeing a very, very impulsive move to the upside. Specifically, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8th consecutive update for USD NOK. Obviously, we can't continue on like that to the upside. We're going to see some type of a pullback, but I don't know. I mean, the price action here tells me that the USD NOK just wants to move higher. So, that makes me a little bit skeptical, and definitely that also tells me that as I chose the USD CAD to be my preferred short previous time that I traded short the USD CAD, if I am to trade those again, I'm going to choose, because I believe that that crude found some kind of a, of a low and it's going to push higher. I'm going to choose to go with USD CAD once again and not USD NOK. As long as USD NOK remains above this formation, I think that it's very, very dangerous trying to fade it, right? So as simple as that. And, prophetically, I had spoken in advance about, the danger of head and shoulders formations that many times they mask triangles. And, this was a very good example of that exact thing. Everybody was looking at this head and shoulders formation, but it ended up not being one. It ended up being probably a triangle, right? Because we are seeing quite a strong, there it is, a triangle, right? Okay, so that's what I think about this, and quite a move here. Let me see. We have quite a few questions. Bank Nifty and Nifty. Yep, I'm going to have a look at that. I really appreciate the straight talk. Have a cracking week. Thank you, Mark. Is his desk always so tidy? Yeah, not to mention the GOP party does not want another government shutdown. I also believe that. Can you please cover Euro Kiwi, USD Yen, Pound Yen? Yes, for our chart. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Could you please have a look at the S&P? Absolutely. Isn't there a triangle forming in silver? Yes, this can be one. In the gold-silver ratio, yes, this can be a triangle. As I said, we might be looking at another move lower, but as I said, I need to see a breakdown from 81 before I get more enthusiastic about a continuation lower in the gold-silver ratio. So let's go through the questions one by one. So first question, USD Yen. Okay, things are quite simple with the USD Yen. When we were trading here, this is what I drew, that we seem to be consolidating here. And that doesn't look bearish to me. Regardless, even if we don't fail from there, I said, which there was a chance we would fail if we saw some risk-off environment. I do believe that even if we saw another move to the upside, we should stall either at the 61.8 or worst case scenario towards the 200 daily moving average or this horizontal resistance area at 111.50. So I do think that anywhere between 110.80, 111.50, we should see some reversal in the USD yen lower. I think that the risk reward ratio is going to be very appealing for shorts there. So that's my opinion about the USD yen. I wouldn't be long. I would rather be short up there and do nothing in between. Now, having to do with the questions about the crosses, and our friend is asking about the crosses on shorter time frame 4-hour charts. So let's go through them on a 4-hour chart. So let's begin by Euro-Aussie. So Euro-Aussie, I was looking at this like a possible triangle, and I was expecting continuation lower for a new low. We did get that, but we never made it to my target. My target was this confluence of supports at 156. We actually reversed from there. And if we see it at the same time on a daily chart, you're going to see that this is a pair that likes lately to channel, right? Channeled move lower, channeled move higher, channeled move lower. And so far, after this very big candlestick, we look like we want to move higher from here. We've broken out of this descending channel, and we're looking good for more upside. Of course, some risk off will definitely help this, but I do think that we should see at least one more leg higher towards this area. Now, Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi, quite more straightforward. As you see, this was like a triangle. We got a daily candle higher. This is the 4-hour chart, but you can see here on the 4 hours as well that we had a big move higher. And this consolidation that started on the 7th of the month looks corrective to me. So I do think that at least one more leg higher should start unfolding rather soon from 167. Perhaps we have even found a low already towards at least the 61.8 at 169.40. So I think the Euro Kiwi looks quite nicely to the upside. It looks even better than the Euro Aussie, in my opinion, on the short-term scale. Now, let's have a look at the Pound Aussie and the Pound Kiwi. Pound Aussie still trading within an ascending channel. So, as long as that's the case, we have to respect the upside. Closest support at 181.50, roughly. Next area of resistance at 183.70. So a decent risk reward ratio if you're looking for one more leg higher. Where I would place my stop loss and what level I would be targeting. Pound Kiwi. Now, Pound Kiwi was a little bit more deceiving because I was monitoring at this ascending channel. We got a breakdown from there, but then we got this rebound. So this channel doesn't look so reliable anymore, obviously. But on the other hand, if we just isolate the last move higher, it looks decently impulsive to me. You can even count 5 waves here, and the move lower so far looks corrective. So if you isolate just the last move, I think that there should be at least one more leg higher, and 190.80 is a horizontal support area. And if that fails, 189.80 is the next one. From there, we might see more upside. Okay. So I think we covered those. Let me see. S&P. Yeah, let's have a look at the indices. And let's go down to the 4-hour chart, because really on the daily chart, not much has changed on the indices. Since Friday, we had quite a nice rollover from there, but then we got a late bid on Friday, and so far we've seen some kind of a continuation. Now, I want to see what kind of a move will unfold from here. If this is a nice rejection from the extension of the triangle target that we reached, I would want to see this roll over, like as soon as possible. Today, maximum tomorrow, I would want to see continuation lower from there. So, and definitely you don't want this 2470 area, which is also a little bit higher from there. You find the 200 daily moving average. If we go to the daily, you can see that actually what capped price action was the 200 daily moving average, and actually we saw an evening star formation on the daily chart here. So, you have a clearly defined risk-reward ratio. You don't want to see a move above that if you think that this reversal indicates, the beginning of a move lower. It's likely, but I want to see a continuation, as I said, as soon as possible. The rest of the indices more or less show the same thing. Now, having to do with the DAX, I'm only going to go over the DAX as well because we've already...
the Nikkei has been the weak sister. It's going to make new lows. I mean, it's almost there.
Yeah, Nikkei actually almost made it to my first target here, coach. Yeah. Nice price action. Found
I wonder why. Why it's a weak sister. It's not, DAX is as weak as the Nikkei, isn't it?
DAX actually is
weaker.
Yeah. And DAX has also invalidated the inverted head and shoulders formation, and that's not a good sign. So especially if we see some continuation from here, I would be looking for lower lows in DAX. DAX is definitely not well behaved. The FTSE,
the guest is in the house. If
okay, go ahead.
Almost wrapping up. Should I go ahead?
Go
All
ahead.
Right, Steve will cover everything again tomorrow in a very effective manner. So Dimitri, just stay on one name. Christoph, I'm going to make you the presenter now. I'm looking forward to hearing your voice and seeing your setup. Just use the drop-down menu. I heard some sound.
Hello.
Hi, Christos.
Yeah, just having a little bit of difficulties, Dale.
Yeah, I could hear your voice loud and clear.
I know, but the only problem is I can't get the go-to webinar to work on my PC, so I've actually just logged in onto my laptop to talk with you, but unfortunately, all of my setups are on my PC.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want to take a minute and try and log in on your PC? Stevie, he was showing up and it would say, wouldn't let him in, and the message was waiting for organizer. You think that maybe he had the wrong link?
Definitely.
Wrong link? Okay, can you give me a link? And I'm going to give you another link. So it's my bad, I guess. It was the one I've used for other people. So just waiting for it to come. And then I'm going to put it in your DM box on Twitter.
You can give him the regular link that we give to everybody, and we're going to find him.
That's what I did give him. That's what I did give him.
That should work fine.
Well, it kept saying waiting for organizer.
Why doesn't
let him in the room?
One more shot. Here it is. I put it again here for you.
All right. All right. Okay, Christos, it's going to your DM.
Okay, thank you.
Are you from Cyprus?
Very welcome.
I am, yes.
Yeah, I can tell it from the name. Christoforos Dimitriou,
Galo.
How can you tell the difference between someone who's from Greece and Cyprus, Steve? Based on the name.
Very, very frequently, last names from Cyprus are same or equivalent to first names. So you can have names like Dimitris Dimitriou or Yorgos Georgiou or Yannis.
It's always got an IOU on the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve.
Okay, I'm just...
Should have been a detective.
No.
You are. You're a market detective.
Where from Cyprus, Christopher?
Larnaca.
Larnaca, okay.
So is it working on your desktop now, buddy? Letting you in?
It says waiting to view my screen. How do I share screen?
Wait a second. So you've logged in with the second. You've logged in with a second computer now, right?
Nah.
Yeah, and it keeps bouncing back and forth. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to make this guy.
Wait a second.
I'm just waiting for.
Did you get now your second PC getting?
No, he's gone.
No, he's not gone.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I promoted you on your other PC. Check that out.
So the screen share is above. Drop down.
Don't worry, Dale.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you from the other PC. Okay, so you can switch off from your other one.
Okay, I'm turning the other one off.
Okay, perfect. So now I will pass you the screen. Okay.
Okay, εντάξει.
There you go. I just passed you the screen, Christopher.
It's like a soccer team.
We'll get there in the end.
All right, was it from out of bounds, state penalty?
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
We just hear you.
Yeah, but we hear you perfectly fine. So your computer definitely works.
It's up at the top. You'll see.
There is a button in the panel. Yeah, there you go. Now we can see your screen. Yeah, perfect.
You can see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can see.
Which one? What can you see?
Torosso.
Oh, you can see the website. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So shall I start by saying how I got into trading?
Go ahead.
Why don't we start with this, Christos? How long have you been in the business?
Well, believe it or not, I'm only 24 years old.
So how long?
I've started when I was around 14, so
okay,
a little while, but 14 years old.
So tell us how it happened to you at 14, when most guys were just getting interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I had no.
You were a gambler at 14.
Yeah, well, you have no idea what you're doing at 14, do you? And I never really knew what the trading was. And I actually first got introduced to trading. It sounds silly, but I was seeing a girl at the time, and her dad was a commodities trader, and he was mainly focused on oil. And I remember, he had the latest cars, he had a massive house. There was only 4 of them, and they lived in a massive 8-bedroom house. And I always wondered what he did for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And I always asked her, but she never had no clue. She always said, "Oh, Dad just sits at home all day on his computer, like shouting at screens and stuff." So when I was round there one night, I happened to walk past his home office, and he was sitting there. I mean, I remember it clear as day today. He had 12 24-inch monitors to the left of him, and in front of him he had 2 32-inch monitors. I think I stood there for a good 5 minutes, and then he actually caught me watching him, and then he invited me to come in, sit down, and watch him. And it was like at that moment, kind of fell in love with the game.
Interesting. I mean, did he take it further and mentor you?
Yeah, he did. So he was my mentor, and so obviously at 14 I was still at school, and we kind of agreed that 3 days a week after school I could go round and he would teach me what he knows, and kind of take me under his wing.
Wow. And was he a successful trader?
He was, yeah.
He had to be, from what you said he accumulated. So
yeah, I mean,
wow, what a break to find someone like that, compared to people having to have a very keen eye for discernment with a lot of the junk that's around on the internet today.
Yeah,
you were lucky. You were lucky, bro.
I was very lucky, but I did lose contact with him after a while, and
you shouldn't have broke. You should have married her.
Oh, I did try, Dale, but unfortunately they moved to America.
Oh, okay.
So all right. I remember.
But, I mean, it's kind of early to propose at 14.
Oh yeah, I mean, I probably
maybe you go steady.
I probably had a bar of chocolate and a packet of crisps to my name. So
Yeah.
not sure
Yeah.
that would have done anything.
Okay. So then 14, take us a little further down the road, and you're probably finished school. And did you have any other kind of vocation before trading became your full-time thing at the ripe old age of 24?
It was always trading that I wanted to do. And after I lost contact with them, I actually got back in contact with him when I was 18. Somehow he emailed me out of the blue just to see how I was. So I kind of got back into contact with him. And this bit goes back to what you say, Dale, about having a community of traders, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other. I think he had about 7 people that he was actively talking to every day. I mean, these guys were big boys. Apart from my small account, I think the smallest account that was in their group was £250,000 in their trading account. So I did learn a lot from them. And I remember asking them loads of questions, you know, throughout the whole day, and they'd be happy to help me, sharing ideas with each other. So I did learn a lot. And it sounds silly, but what they'd done wasn't anything like difficult. They used no indicators. It was just supply and demand through support and resistance, trend lines, Fibonacci, and price action study through the candlesticks. And they were scalpers, so there was really in and out of the market, nothing too crazy.
Okay, so you hung out with them, and did you go get a formal job at a trading desk or anything like that? So I know you have your own. Go ahead.
I actually went to university and studied finance, investment, and risk just to further my knowledge. I mean, it wasn't nothing to do with actually teaching you how to trade and, you know, how to enter, how to analyze the markets. It was more to do with the economic side, the fundamental side, you know, analyzing a company's balance sheets and what have you.
All that useless stuff, right?
Yeah, basically all the useless stuff.
Right. Okay, then, so go ahead.
I think it was 2014. I just started to tweet my ideas on Twitter. I think it got a big following, and from there, people started to ask me, like, what's your thoughts on the markets? You know, what do you think is going to happen here? So I started to produce some reports, and then here we are today. You know, people are paying for it. I can't complain. So, and then trading as well. It's been very kind to me. But I actually remember in my early days where my chart had every single indicator you could imagine, you know, MACD, RSI, stochastics, and it got to a point where I couldn't even see the price on the chart. And I remember thinking, what am I actually trading here? You know, because you can't see the price. And what am I actually doing? I'm just following a load of squiggly lines, not showing me anything. And for me, indicators are always lagging. So it doesn't really help me in my trading. So that's why I got rid of them, went back to the roots of what I learned.
A picture speaks 1,000 words. Let's look at your setup.
Okay, what should we look at first?
Well, first of all, let's see any chart, and then I'll know what you don't use, and we'll all know what you do use. And then anything that's on your radar that you have conviction about, I can go there.
I'm a big. Where can I put this? Okay, there we go.
There's your chart, and now it disappeared again. There it is.
There it is. Okay, so this is oil.
Okay.
And I was what was it, a few weeks ago when we was hitting this resistance zone here.
That was last Monday.
My subscribers and the few other traders that I talked to. And I remember saying that I can actually see the market like retracing from here, not breaking above. And we actually, in my report, we used the 52.95 handle as a pivot level. This orange one here, just below the 61.8 Fibonacci. And I remember we had a short position below here. Didn't catch too much of a profit because I did exit early. But I still think that oil is going to come down much lower.
47.
And let's zoom out here. Well, once we break this zone here, the 50.96, 49.34.
What are the gray boxes and white boxes?
Okay, so the grey boxes are just my support and resistance. The dark grey boxes.
Okay.
Those are my zones and levels that I'm trading from. And
Okay.
if we can break below here, I can definitely see the market, coming to test the 43.77, 41.15 down here. I can see
Okay.
that happening.
So what if you're flat now? What do you do?
We've got shit off here, broke out of the.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I understand.
Well,
yeah. So you're flat the market now. You have a bearish view. What do you tell your subscribers to do now? Have a toe in the water, or wait for a reflex rally to do something?
Well, last week it was a sell off of the pivot of the 52.95 here. It was a sell off this level here. We actually tested it as resistance after we broke below, and now we're seeing the sell off to come lower. But if you're actually fat now, I wouldn't be selling just here. I mean, there's a bit of support here. If I just quickly draw a little, just from like around this area, there is some support there.
Do you follow any correlations in the oil, like Canada or?
I do follow oil and dollar.
Oil and the dollar, or the Canadian dollar?
Oil and the Canadian dollar. So dollar CAD, that currency pair. That's inversely correlated.
And how about the stock indices, which in the fall and winter they both fell apart together? You seen that type of correlation? Do you pay attention to it?
Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to the actual correlation. I mean, I just trade from I don't know where the market's going to definitely go. It's all about confluence for me. The more things that point into the same direction, the better. And then my entries come off like studying the price action from the candlesticks. I mean, I'll scale down right to the 5-minute chart before I enter my trades. Analyze on the higher time frames, enter on the 5-minute. So if we actually see here is actually a small head and shoulders forming on oil. So break below this.
We're doing it right now.
Like light grey box here, that small support. Yeah, we will break lower, and I can see that happening. So I am waiting to get another short position in, but we might take it live in this webinar. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much you just use supply demand zones and fibs. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, I like to keep it nice and simple, and what works for me works for me. It doesn't necessarily work for everyone, but everyone has their own trading style. And I think that's what's so interesting about trading. You can give everyone the same chart on the same time frame, and everyone's going to come to almost a different conclusion just from the way they analyze the market.
Okay. So besides oil, anything else on your radar you want to share with us?
Yeah, if I just go back to oil again, I actually had this screenshot from just before we was testing the resistance zone here, and I actually said that we can, so you can see the projected movement that I'm looking to happen. So once we break below there, I can see to come down to this support zone and then push above higher if we can stay above them.
Okay, so just a shade under 50 is what you're looking. Okay.
Yeah. So hitting here, I will I'm just looking for this movement to happen here, but as of right now, it is looking very bearish.
Okay.
So
another couple bucks, and it'll be in your buy zone from here.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Cool. So you trade pretty naked, and you're in Cyprus. So I hope you keep the.
Oh no, I'm actually in London. I don't live in Cyprus.
Oh, okay. You're in London. Well,
yeah, unfortunately.
Trading naked, you should still keep your shades drawn.
Yeah.
You don't want to freak out anyone who is trying to learn how to trade, and.
Oh no, of course not.
You're trading naked.
Yeah.
Could do that. So. Yeah. Okay. So, Christos, it seems like you have a handle on it for, gosh, I mean, you started at 14. But let me ask you this. When you went into it full time, and it's only been about, what, you say 3 years, pretty much full time?
No, full time. I was trading full time whilst I was still at university. I mean, the subscription service was going whilst I was at university as well.
Okay.
So I'd say from about 6 years from when I was 18, they actually started full time. with my own account, and I made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money, and I did start to doubt myself. You know, everyone has the doubts. You know, it's too hard. Can this actually happen? And yeah,
because the question I have, I mean, people go to universities, they get degrees, but you know, a lot of people have unrealistic expectations that, you know, they could learn this in 6 months. Yeah, I ask everyone, how many years did it really take for you to feel proficient and have breakthroughs and learn to trade more consistently? How many years was it for you?
When I was consistently, I won't count the years between 14 and 18. I mean, those were like, you know, the learning, the car was still in the garage, so to speak.
Right.
You know, I was still getting tuned up. So I'd say from 18 till 21. No, 22, so 4 years.
That's the average answer I get.
Yeah, 4 years it really took to harp down, and, you know, the sleepless nights, 5 hours sleep a night on average, constantly thinking about the markets, spend your whole life on the markets, really. And it becomes an obsession, doesn't it?
It can.
I mean, I still wake up in the middle of the night, check my phone for prices.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, for a lot of people, though, trading is what we do, not who we are. So tell me about something else that you guys, or other instruments that you are paying attention to.
Just looking at the Dow.
Okay.
Oh, if I can get it to stay on this screen. There we go. So I'm looking at this orange level here. I've been looking at since last week, looking to buy on a break above to actually target the 25,440 and the 25,638 up here. So I was short below here once we got the break out of the trend line support and the rejection off the resistance, but I don't think that I still think that the US market can go higher. I mean, for me, as long as we stay above this support zone here, the 24,885 to the 24,670, I can see us pushing higher. So once we get a break above here, I will be looking to enter long just as a small scalp, you know, just to this zone here where I'll be looking to exit my trade.
Okay.
But then you can, again, another head and shoulders pattern. And it sounds stupid because they are such a simple pattern, but I do rely on the head and shoulders pattern a lot, and it is a very profitable pattern for me.
So you're looking for a rally to form a head, and what's happening to the left will end up being a shoulder.
Yeah. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming here.
Oh, okay. So you think we're in a right shoulder here?
Yeah, I think this is going to become a right shoulder here.
Okay,
yeah, definitely.
But not if it closes in highs.
Yeah, but if we can break above here, then obviously we're going to take out the head here.
Okay.
And then look to go higher. I mean, you know, you've got your higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low possible here. So a new higher high above there. So if that right shoulder does form, I mean, as long as the market can stay above here, we can go higher. But a break below there, I mean, the neckline is roughly here 24836. But for the head and shoulders pattern, I do like to expand the neckline into a support zone instead of having one defined level. I find it reacts better, and it's a more profitable way to trade the pattern. And I mean, that's just what I've found out over the years.
Okay.
So below this zone, I'll be looking to short into here.
Okay. So a pair that a lot of people are having a hard time with, and I've seen some super bullish counts. No, US dollar yen. I mean, it's easier to have a view. I mean, what do you do with it? Nothing, right?
I'm not doing nothing with it. I mean, after the large spike down, when was it, on the third?
Oh yeah, the flash crash.
Yeah, flash, the big finger.
Right. Okay. So then let's go to the euro or the dollar index and tell us what you're seeing there.
I can go. If I go to, so I just got trying to sort my screens out and drag it across. If I go, no, not that one. Okay, so let me.
So you kind of feel like a matador when you're trading, because I saw the
Yeah.
bull. The bull
Yeah.
is your, kind of your, what do they call those? I was up all night. Kind of your logo.
Yeah.
Logo.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
for the logo, I mean, the half bull and the half bear, that's where Torosso comes from, because in Spanish, toro means bull, oso means bear. So put it together, it's Torosso.
I like it. Creative. Nice.
So yeah.
All right. So what do you seeing here, Dixie?
I can test on the Dixie. So the traders that I talk to, the small community that I have, when we're bouncing ideas off each other, we was looking to long off the bounce. We missed this bounce off the trend line and the support zone here. So we actually got in long here. So we had a pin bar on the daily time frame.
Yeah. So you're looking for,
are you lovely bullish price?
I was kind of thinking here. Right around here, 97, 97.10 might be it for some type of pullback. But we could just blow to new highs too.
I wouldn't be looking to buy. Yeah, definitely. So we could see another pullback testing the trend line support again, where a bounce come and test the upper trend line resistance into this resistance zone. But to be honest with you, I would be looking.
Okay, you're breaking up below. Lost you. Can't hear you, Chris.
Just short around here.
Okay.
I mean,
your mic keeps cutting in and out. Why don't we do this, Chris? So why don't you tell us about your why don't you tell us about your business model and how people could that are watching you right now or see the video later can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can let's get the website up.
So I have Chris's
again
Twitter handle.
So yeah, just
Christos Caroso. That's his Twitter handle. And your website address.
You can email me at info
at Torosso. Okay. All right. And that's your website. Website address is www.torosso. What do you have? .co.uk.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Chris. I appreciate it. Was nice to meet you.
And you, Dan. Thank you for having me.
It sounds like you had a great start. You had a great, you already put in a lot of time. So at your young age, I wish you nothing but continued success, and everyone that you teach and help in the markets that you pay it forward, help them avoid landmines. And I'm going to call you from now on my Trading Warrior brother. So thanks for taking time out of your day to address our community today, Chris.
No problem, Dale. Thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Good hunting, buddy. And that's a wrap for us, everyone. I'll see you for Turnaround Tuesday. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See everyone tomorrow. Good hunting the rest of the day. Adios. Thanks again, Chris.